Hello and welcome to a new series we'll be doing here on my channel. I am joined today by Sibe. I will be posting his YouTube channel in the description, and what we'll be doing is going over a preview of all the Jupiler Pro League matches. We'll be looking in detail on all the different matches and seeing what players will be doing good, what matchups will be good for different players, and so on. How are you, Sibe?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to do it. New series, always fun to do. Of course, if you can share your knowledge. So let's get into it.
We'll be starting with Westerlo Anderlecht, as that will be the first game on Friday evening. In my opinion, this is a really good matchup for Anderlecht, especially.
Yeah, I think this is a really easy game for Anderlecht, to be honest. I think maybe score 3 or 4. Hazard might still be injured. I don't know that exactly, but Dolberg as well.
I think Dolberg will 100% be out, but it looks like that people are still predicting Torgan Hazard to be in the team, but I don't expect him to be playing personally. However, that
Yeah,
would have been a very good matchup for them.
yeah. And if you look, Westerlo also the worst home team, 15 in the league, and Anderlecht just in good form. So yeah, I think this will be an easy win for Anderlecht. Good scores from Vertongen, Sardella, De Bast.
I think especially Vertongen could be a really good one in this game, especially if you saw him last game. A lot of long passes, passes into the final third, passes into the box, will give him a lot of AA points.
Yeah, also Dreyer, Hazard if he plays, think get a decisive or two, both in really good form. On Sorare, just decisives almost every week. And yeah, Vasquez doesn't have a card, I believe. So yeah, you would be a
Vasquez
good
indeed.
option for cap otherwise.
I think in this team, Delaney and Ritz will probably be the best ones for the cap modes, as they both have pretty low averages. I think both below 45.
Yeah, I think they're good to play in cap tier. Really easy matchup. Think yeah, Westerlo can surprise at home, but don't expect really anything from them. If you look at the Westerlo team, maybe Bayram still has a decent score. He's scoring pretty well last week, but yeah, maybe if they score a goal, Madsen or something. But I wouldn't be picking any Westerlo players this weekend.
I would also not be picking any of the Western players. Who do you think will be playing instead of Hazard if Hazard won't play?
Um, yeah, wait, what's the rotation? Amuzu, Struikens, yeah, maybe Delaney 50% on the bench. I know sorry data projections aren't always the best, but yeah, probably Amuzu maybe. He was also injured lately, I believe, so don't know that exactly if he's fully back. Verschaar is also coming back, but I don't think he's ready yet to play with the first team.
I believe that Flips played the last game instead of Hazard,
Oh yeah, you're right.
um,
That's
but he
that's right.
didn't play very well, so we could be expecting Struikens maybe.
Yeah, Struikens on the wing could be also not a really tough game, so maybe some other places. Because Struikens played like in the midfield last week if he played. Uh,
I think it probably will be between one of the three Flips, Amuzu or Struikens, but I believe that the Flips or Struikens will be the highest percentage between them. Unless Hazard will get fit, then he will of course play.
Yeah, there will probably come some more info about him in the upcoming days. And then if you look at the scores for like a challenger or all-star team, I think Anderlecht stack maybe midfielder not that great or the fifth player, but like Schmeichel, I don't think he has a card, but Vertongen, Leoni, Dreyer maybe could be good options like 80 pluses if they perform well.
I like all three of them. Sardella might be a decent one as well, because he can score higher, especially if he gets some kind of decisive, an assist, for example, from wingback could be possible.
Yeah, their other back as well, Augustinsson, last two scores above 85, one for Anderlecht, one for Sweden. So yeah, if he performs well last week, 50 all around against RWDM. I mean, if they have the ball, he does something in the attack. Yeah, that's a lot of all around.
Definitely possible. So some Anderlecht players could be good for the All-Star or Challenger lineups, but I don't think there's many good options for the cap modes, Delaney and Ritz possibly, mostly. However, I think both are not getting the best AA scores in most games. I looked at their scores today as well, and most of the times they are below 40. So I wouldn't be taking them even if they are playing Westerlo.
And what's the prediction score-wise? Like, I think Anderlecht will win like 99%, but they always concede at least one away. And Westerlo is just at home; they always score. So yeah, I think like a 1-3, 1-4 could be one of the outcomes.
I also agree on that. 1-3 possibly would be the most possible, I think.
Yes.
I don't see Anderlecht scoring more than 3 personally, because I have still the feeling that they will fuck up this season.
Yeah, away they're I think at home they're pretty strong this season, beat teams like Antwerp, but away they're also winning their games, but they're a bit more shaky if they not play at home.
Well, let's get into the next game. That is
Sure,
RWDM
that.
against Charleroi. Both teams are in for the relegation battle. However, I think that RWDM is more safer than that of Charleroi. But I think both teams are about the same quality. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just I think difficult because Charleroi last games, if I'm not wrong, or even last game against Westerlo, they won again with a late goal. So yeah, they're an interesting team on paper. If you look at these players, that's good players. Sorare, Margarita, their defense is solid, but yeah, it just doesn't work for them this season.
And we always have to be careful for Matsu time, of course. Late on goals are a thing from Matsu. And
Yeah, and I see her also.
especially RWDM are conceding they have lost the most points in extra time this season of all teams.
Yeah, I also heard that. Um, If you look at the ranking as well, Charleroi away haven't won a single game in 7 away games this season. Only scored 4 goals in 7 games, so it's not looking good for them.
I am also personally not really liking Charleroi this season. However, with Eli Maraitra and Zorgan, you always have 2 players that can score good in any game.
Yeah, I think if they are able to keep a clean sheet, which I don't think in this game, but if they're a decent team like with Koffie, the defender, and then Zorgan or Ilan Marita, I think Zorgan was last year a really good option for challenger. He had like 60 pluses almost every week, but this season just not it. And if you then look to RWDM, they're a decent team, interesting team to see.
I always like Makter Guillet as my forward for cap 240 or cap 220. He has won me cap thresholds more times than not this season.
Yeah, it's just a decisive dependent player, but if he scores, yeah, you have a 70, 75 score. And I think in easy matchups, he always managed to score. Got an assist against Eupen, scored against Sint-Truiden. So in the matchups that are not that difficult, he will most likely get a decisive.
I personally also do like Pierre Duomo, of course, Genk Academy talent, and Rain Adelaide, or Rain Adelaide, I think it's pronounced officially. I both think they're good players.
Yeah, if you look at the cap modes, probably Duomo. Yeah, there are some nice cap players like Duomo, Reina de Laide, Gueye. They're all like their L15 isn't that high, but yeah, you really they need to do good for you, otherwise they'll drop like a 35, and that's not what you want.
And I think Difforny is the one that springs out there the most for fucking up your team. I have put him in multiple suggestions this season. However, every time he doesn't keep a clean sheet. It feels like RWDM just can't keep clean sheets this season.
Yeah, I think RWDM doesn't have a clean sheet yet on in home games. In the last 4, they haven't. They always conceded 1 or 2 goals, maybe at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I think maybe a lot of goals. I don't know. I think they will both score. Don't think there will be clean sheets here. But yeah, my prediction, I think RWDM will win because Charleroi away is just, yeah, they're just not good enough. So I think maybe 2-0 here. 2-1. What am I saying? 2-1, 2-3-2. A lot of goals and a win for RWDM.
I am actually going to predict a draw in this game. 2-2 for me.
Yeah, could also just predict both teams to score and some more goals than that. And then, yeah, challenger players or all-star quality players are not really here, I think. Maybe Zorgan or Ilan Maharitra, but yeah, again, in an away game, I wouldn't really pick them. Yeah, just not high enough scores in this game.
I totally agree on that. Both teams don't really have players that stand out for your challenger or all-star teams or even cap to 70 teams. Let's get into Eupen Kortrijk. Again, a
This is
matchup
a game.
that I don't like. No players, especially for All-Star or Challenger, definitely not, but even for the cap mode, I wouldn't be taking any of these players, especially because I think both teams are the same quality, but same quality that they are really bad.
Yeah, this is one of the games you see and you think I don't like the Pro League. Like, what is this game? But yeah, up against Kortrijk, I think last week both their forms is really bad, losing. Up is a bit higher in the ranking because they did good at the beginning of the season, but last week's they're not good. Kortrijk also don't know, it's not really a team. So yeah, story wise, I wouldn't go for any players from these teams.
I wouldn't go indeed for any of these teams. The one thing I can tell you is that Eupen will probably score a goal. I don't think Eupen have had many games this season where they haven't scored. They always fuck up
Yeah,
my clean sheets for my keepers somehow.
yeah, and Kortrijk as well. I think one clean sheet this season because I had Van den Berg as my cap goalie at the beginning of the season. Thought Kortrijk some clean sheets, but only one I think this season, and it was against Club Brugge, so unexpected. So yeah, I think both teams will probably score. But yeah, away Kortrijk, maybe they won't score. I don't know.
The one thing I can tell you is that the coach for Kortrijk does make a lot of difference, because last season I did like them under Bernd Stork. I did have some of their players last season, but I sold them because this season they really haven't been up to the same level as last season.
Yeah, that's why I also bought Van den Berg at the beginning of the season. Thought Kortrijk was going to be stable mid-table team, maybe because last year they were pretty decent, I guess. But yeah, this year they're not it. Also, Kortrijk away only scored 3 goals in 7 games, conceded almost 20 goals. Just not looking good. If you want to go for players for capped, I would definitely look at Eupen players because yeah, Kortrijk players are not gonna get you anything in cap.
I am going to predict this game as a 1-0 only.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe I do think if Kortrijk is as weak as some games, Eupen can win 2-0. But again, Eupen is also not a great team. So yeah, a 1-0 or 2-0 win, I agree on that.
Although the one thing I do think as well is that there is a chance for Kortrijk to score, because Eupen has been leaking goals all season. But I don't believe the attacking quality of Kortrijk is good enough.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm seeing Eupen has with Kortrijk the most goals conceded. So yeah, maybe Kortrijk will also score. But yeah, if I look at their lineup now with players like Ali Idrissi, Oyo, Messatou, that's just not good enough quality to even win games and even score goals, in my opinion.
That's not enough quality to be in the Jupiler Pro League, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Now let's get into a more exciting game, especially for one side, that is Antwerp against Leuven.
Yeah, so probably we can't really predict the lineups because oh no, they did already play. Sorry, that was Genk, Gent, and Club Brugge I had in my mind because they still play European games, of course, Thursday evening. But Antwerp already played in Champions League. Maybe some rotation. I don't know.
I don't think that Antwerp does have enough quality in depth to make too many changes to their team. The one you could see is someone like Kerk coming in, or the young striker. I forgot the name, and I don't see.
Ile Nikena,
Yes,
George Ile
Ile
Nikena,
Nikehena.
yes.
Someone like him, or an Eyuke could be coming in. I believe that Vines could also have a chance this weekend, personally, as a surprise left back.
Yeah, I think players like Ilenikena and Kerk will probably play. Ilenikena will, I think, probably play because he had his chances last weeks and he scored some goals. So I think he will play. Kerk maybe, like some rest for Jansen, maybe Balikwisha, I don't know.
The sure starters we can say are definitely going to be Bataille and Alderweireld. And I like them both for this game, especially if Bataille is moving back to the right back. He is going to do very well. Probably like 60 plus points.
Yeah, Bataille in his scores, he had a little dip last weeks, but now last 2 games 60 plus again, I believe. So now good again. I also think Vermeer, Yusuf, Ekkelenkamp won't get rotated because their depth in midfield is literally nothing. Keita's injured, so they don't have any player to rotate there.
Unless Keita is going to make a miracle comeback, it will indeed be Yusuf, Vermeer and Ekkelenkamp. We could also see Kerk instead of Ekkelenkamp. And Balikwisha in the midfield could be a possibility
Yes,
to bring
that's
more
true.
creativity as well.
Yeah, sure. And then if you look at options, I think Antwerp stack or Antwerp players are a good choice this week. Leuven is also not performing as people thought at the beginning of the season. I think they're in a relegate spot at the moment and away. Yeah, difficult game for them.
They are indeed sitting in 14 out of 16, so that's pretty low down the table, and they only have 12 points from a possible 45. I do indeed think that an Antwerp stack would be good, especially a defensive stack for Antwerp with Buté, Alderweireld, Bataille, maybe a Koulibaly. I think Buté is one of the keepers this weekend, which has the highest percentage of a clean sheet, the highest chance.
Yeah, Buté, Alderweireld, good options. Bataille then as extra player and then maybe a forward and a midfielder from another team because Vermeer and Yusuf, their scores are not good enough for Challenger or All Star, and yeah, Vermeer's price is just too high to buy him for cap. And then yeah, Jansen could be an option. I think he can score if he plays, but yeah, too much rotation risk in my opinion. If you look at Leuven, yeah, Schreeuwers also is always scoring a bit better than the others, but he has also some trouble last week scoring, so really won't pick anything of Leuven, to be honest.
I would not take anything from Leuven. I think this will be probably like a 3-0 or 4-0 for Antwerp. I personally have Jansen in my cap 240, so I definitely think he is a good option as well for the cap modes if you have the budget for him, because he is a little bit more expensive at 10 euros.
Yeah, and if I look at the stats as well, Antwerp, at home they're just really strong, scoring 3 average goals. Leuven away, they've conceded the most away goals from every team. So I think this is gonna be a 3-4-0. Maybe if they score like a penalty, it could not be a clean sheet for Antwerp, but I think Buté is the best goalkeeper to take in the Pro League this week, if I'm not mistaken.
I definitely second that opinion. And for the rest, I think we have covered everything. So let's get into the next game, which is probably the most exciting game for this weekend, in my opinion, in Genk against Gent. Somehow not a derby, as they're both on opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, I think Genk is always an interesting game, no matter how both teams do in the league. It's just always close. Not that many goals, if that's true, I think. Last year it's like a 1-0, 2-1, so not that many goals.
In the past, we have seen a lot of goals in between these teams, but this
Yeah,
year
was it?
less so. Um, and I always think that Genk do pretty well against Gent, because Gent is a team that likes to play very attacking, and that is what Genk plays the best against.
Yeah, that's true. Genk play the best against a team that also attacking, so they can find the spaces. But I think both teams will rotate because Gent, yeah, they have not a lot of players. Their depth is really small. They also have some like ill players like Kums didn't train. The Sar had some injury problems. So yeah, we have to see who's fit. And Genk also some rotation in the defense. You see here with 50%. Probably some of these players won't play.
The one player you can be sure that plays in defense for the weekend is the one center back that doesn't play on Thursday evening against Fiorentina.
Yeah, that's true. I think Mackenzie isn't. Yeah, Mackenzie isn't playing against Fiorentina, so Mackenzie will probably play, and then Munoz as well. Of course, he's probably back from his national duty. He was a little bit sick last game, so that's why he didn't play. But yeah, Munoz, one of the best defenders in Challenger Europe. So I think even against Gent, with maybe decisive, he can shoot like 90 plus. So he can be really good for All Star.
I do very much agree on that. Paintel used to be good for All-Star, but has been in a very poor form. Maybe he can take it up again, but he has to become less lazy as he has been last few weeks.
Yeah, that's true. He has not been in the form of last year. Yeah, and if you look at the scores from Gent players, Gent is their third in the league, if I'm right, but away they don't really score that much as at home. Kuipers maybe could be an option if you back Gent to win this game, and Kums and the Saar always do good with all around, no matter if they don't get a decisive. But I wouldn't touch defenders from Gent because I don't think they will get a clean sheet.
I also don't think they will be keeping a clean sheet this week. I think if one of the two is going to keep a clean sheet, it might be Genk with a higher chance, and it will be Gent. However, I think this will be a game with like a lot of goals, like a 2 to 3 goals for each of the teams. I'm predicting a 3-2 win for Genk. Also a bit biased as a Genk fan, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they both play European, of course. Gent with a really easy matchup, as I can say. Genk play against Fiorentina. It's yeah how they come out of that game, but yeah, I think Genk will win this one. But I don't think they will get a clean sheet though. I think like a 2-1 or 1-0 even. I think Genk has been a bit more mature this year. They can keep a clean sheet more than last year. So maybe a 1-0 cheeky 1-0 or 2-1 or something.
We have been one of the teams that has conceded the least amount of goals. We have only conceded 15, which is the third least behind Cercle, Brugge, and Antwerp. So it could be a
Yeah.
clean sheet. I do think
Um,
it will depend mostly on the Gent players that will get fit. For example, if Kums and the Saar both won't play, for example, I don't think I can see Gent winning without our two main midfielders.
Yeah, if they don't play both, I think Genk will like easily win this game because Kums and the Sai are really important players in the midfield, and because they don't have that much squad depth, yeah, they don't really have a player who can play there. You have Gandelman, if I believe, can play in the midfield, but that's it, I guess. If they don't find anyone else, yeah, Heinwil has to find a solution.
They
Also
especially
for
don't have a defensive midfielder in their squad, I believe.
yes,
The options they do have are someone like Gerkens could play that position. Hager is, of course, a more attacking midfielder, but there aren't many options out there.
yeah, and if you then look to players you can use, as I said, Munoz is a good option. But for the other gang players, players who can shoot 70, 80 plus, yeah, Paintsel used to, and Bilal El maybe if he's in good form. But yeah, tough matchup. If you look to Gent, Kuipers, if he scores, he's a good forward, scores a lot. And Kums and the Sai are always good options, in my opinion.
I also want to add Heine to that one. Heine, I think, can score good in any game that he plays, as he has proven with a couple of decisives in a couple of games this season. However, if he doesn't score a decisive, he is often only around that 50 scores.
Yeah, that's true. We always get some all around like 10 to 15, and if he gets a decisive, then you really you have a good pick for the weekend. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, a bad score.
On the Gent side, also, I believe that Tissoudali, if he scores a goal, could also be good. He has been scoring and assisting. I believe he had a streak of about 5 to 6 games back to back with a decisive, but not in the last two now.
Yeah, but yeah, if yeah, you really have to see guys if Kums and the Star are injured, or I think even don't know who it was, but also the defender who was questionable. Yeah, if they can't play, Genk is surely to win and maybe keep a clean sheet.
Could be a clean sheet or could not be. I think this is going to be a very exciting and tight game. Let's move on. the next game
Yes.
is going to be Mechelen Sint-Truiden, which I think, in my opinion, going to be less quality than Genk against Gent, but I think it will be an exciting game either way.
Yeah, this is maybe an underrated, excited game. I'm really looking forward to this game because at the beginning of the season, I didn't think Mechelen STVV was gonna catch my attention, but STVV playing fun attacking football this season. Mechelen also a fun team to watch now with another coach. They won like 4-0 last week, if I'm not mistaken, or a lot of goals last week. So I think we can see a lot of goals this game with yeah, a lot of fun players to pick for cap and yeah.
I agree with that, especially the Mechelen players are very nice to pick for cap modes. Rob Scholes scored a 100 last weekend as well. He's always possible to get a decisive long shot goals, has scored more than enough of them. And especially, this is going to be an exciting game as they're sitting 9th and 10th in the league, so with only 1 point in between them.
Yeah, it's really an exciting game. But STVV away only 1 win in 7 games, so I do back Mechelen here, but I think you can also take some STVV players because I think STVV will score. This season they don't have any trouble with scoring. So from the STVV side, players like Koita, Steukers or Delors, Knieper are I think good options for cap and maybe too weak for challenger because they're not gonna get more than one decisive. But in other weeks they're good options.
I think you can play Koita in Challenger or All-Star any day of the week. However, I think the other players are not that good for All-Star, so rather a cap mode is better. I would not be taking midfielder, defenders, or the keeper of Sint-Truiden. And for Mechelen, I would probably do the same. No defenders, no keeper, but maybe some forwards. Rob Scholes as well, Hermans, maybe Basset, but he came off injured, I believe. Personally, I do like their striker that's injured now in Lauberbach, but sadly he's injured.
Mhm. Yeah, but Basset, did he score last week or give an assist? He also contributed in the win, I think. And yeah, Hermans and Schoofs are. If Mechelen play good, I think they're shooting 60s every week.
Indeed, Storm especially as well is one that is very important for them. Who is been missing, and he is going to be missing for a lot of more games. He's always one that scores high, sadly, so he will not be playing. Van Lerberge, sadly, isn't playing as centre back anymore. He's now a defensive midfielder, but when he plays as centre back, he is always someone who scores really high.
Yeah, Van Lerberg, don't really exactly know what happened with him. He was scoring really good at the beginning of the season, then got used as a substitute, and now he's playing 2 games as a defending midfielder. Because yeah, I think Storm is injured, so Hermans or Schoofs is playing a bit more high up the pitch. Um, so his scores are not that good anymore.
I know that Van Lerberge got me a lot of thresholds at the start of the season, but sadly he has lost his centre back spot, which he is best at because he's both gets a lot of defensive actions, but also a lot of passes into the final third. For example, he has an amazing shot as well. So from midfield, could score a goal possibly, but I would not be taking him this weekend.
Also, really interesting factor is Mechelen has the best home defense. They only conceded 5 goals in 7 games, and they even played like teams like Cercle, Brugge, Antwerp. So at home they're a really solid, stable team in the defense. But Sint-Truiden away is a bit of a drama. They don't win, but they do score a lot of goals. Against Westerlo, 3 goals. Against in Genk, 3 goals. So yeah, I think no clean sheets in this game. My prediction is 2-1 win for Mechelen or even a 3-1 win.
I am going to say a 2-1. I don't believe Mechelen is good enough to score more than 2 goals against Sint-Truiden, but I definitely think they will win. However, Mechelen do have a lot of quality, in my opinion, in their team, much more quality than the position they are in or has been the last few weeks. They are, of course, now higher up in the rankings, so 2-1 for me. Let's move then to another, in my opinion, classic in Belgium, Brugge Standaard, as Standaard used to be a really good team, but have been struggling the last few years.
Yeah, Standard has been struggling last years, but it's still always a really interesting game. Yeah, just a classic game in Belgium. Club Brugge plays against Besiktas, I think, but they do play on the Thursday evening, so maybe some rotation, but I think they will line up their best 11 against Standard because they really need the points. They're not sitting on a Champions playoff spot, so they really need to start winning again.
I do agree on that. Someone who we can predict to play 100% is Van Aken, as he is suspended for the game against Besiktas.
Yeah, Van Aken, his scores are not that great anymore because Club Brugge isn't performing, but if Club Brugge performs, the scores are really good for All-Star Challenger. But yeah, if Club Brugge doesn't keep a clean sheet, which I do think Standaard can score, the Kuiper could be a really good option, but you see, the Kuiper 80% almost, Meyer 60%. They do rotate a lot between these two, so you always have rotation risk. And Mignolet, double 8 pick, but yeah, don't think he will get a clean sheet.
One thing I did notice last week when I watched their game against Genk was that attacking wise, I do think they struggle to score goals and to create really good chances, and especially against a team that is a bit better defensively, which Brugge are not that good at, but maybe they could get a clean sheet, but I would not be trusting in it fully. So I would not be picking Mignolet this weekend.
Yeah, I do agree. Against Genk, they looked a bit clumsy in attack, not really knowing what to do. But yeah, as you see, Mignolet this season, I think only 2-3 clean sheets in like 15 games. So yeah, I don't really back the Standard attackers, but I don't back Mignolet either. So wouldn't really pick a defensive stack for Brugge and not a attacking stack for Standard.
I would definitely pick someone like Van Aken for my All-Star team. I have done it myself because he's one of the midfielders I have with the best matchup this weekend. One that I personally also like for cap modes is Jutgla, with his really low L15 still. I think he's at something like 40 only.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I think Brugge has a lot of really nice cap players. Jutkla, for example, but Vetlas as well. He has, I think, also a low L15 because he was used as a sub some games, but he's now back a starter. Let's see, his L15 is 44 and his L5 is 55. So yeah, he's outperforming most of the time. And Nielsen also, but that's a bit more of a risk.
Especially Nielsen's indeed a risk because I believe that someone like Onyedika can play at any time. One thing that I also find surprising is that Skov Olsen is not in the predictions here. He might be playing again, I think, as I believe he's on the plane to Besiktas, which
No,
does suggest.
I saw that he wasn't. He wasn't. He was injured. To so he hasn't traveled with the team.
Then we have seen different things, but he could be back for the weekend. We don't know. But if he isn't, Buchanan is a good option if he plays as an attacker and not as right back.
So yeah, my prediction for this game. Yeah, both teams are not in a great form. Both struggling to get much points. But I think Brugge at home they will win because Standard away is a bit just not good. So I think like a 2-0 win. Even though I said Mignolet wouldn't keep a clean sheet, I do think a 2-0 win now.
After the defeat of Standard away to Antwerp at 6-0, I am also going with a 2-0 or maybe a 3-0 for Club Brugge. So also a clean sheet for Mignolet. Now, the final game of this weekend is, in my opinion, also going to be a very exciting game. Union against Cercle Brugge.
Yeah, if you look at teams, if you don't really know about Belgian football, Union, Cercle, you don't really know them. But yeah, Union last year is really good. Cercle this season really good. They're sitting on 4th place. They play really fun football, even though they have a lot of injuries, but they keep performing last weeks.
they indeed keep performing, and someone like Abu Francis, who has been injured, is coming back in the next weeks as well, so that could give them another boost. However, for Cercle Brugge, there is only one player I would potentially pick for a team this week, and that would be Kevin Denke.
Yeah, because he can score. I think he's in the top 3 goal scorers of the Pro League this season. Against Union, they're also struggling to keep clean sheets this season. But Union at home is, I think, too strong for the Cercle. So yeah, as you said, only Cercle Brugge players I would pick is Denki. And if you really have the balls, maybe Warlison if you really back Cercle. But he is not my. I have him in limited, but he's not my priority keeper this weekend.
The same for me. Warlison's not a priority keeper this weekend, and I also don't think Maurice would be a priority keeper for me. From this game, because it's such a tight game, in my opinion, there's only one other player I would pick potentially for a team, and that would be Cameron Puertas, I think, who can do good in any game that he plays.
Yeah, Puertas this season after some players left last year. I think yeah, he's playing really good last week. He's really challenge Europe or All-Star material. And yeah, Maurice, he's just not keeping clean sheets this season. They always concede a goal. But yeah, Lapoussin could be a really good option. Same with Van Hout. I think Union have a lot of captive 40 players if they have a great matchup. But yeah, against Cercle Brugge, don't think they will win probably, but not with a huge score. So don't think a lot of players will get a decisive.
One player that I believe could do well, who you can use for the cap modes, is Christian Burgess. Cercle do play with a lot of long balls. Center backs always do pretty well against them score-wise. So a center back from Union could do well for cap modes this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember the game against Genk and Sadiq had like 90 score, Quest had 80 score. So that's true. If they play long balls, that's good for defenders. Especially Burgess, really good in the aerial duels. So yeah, I think Burgess is a really good option for cap.
And for the rest, maybe Castro Montes could be a decent one as well. But I would not pick that many players from Union because it's just such a difficult game. Cercle is a team that all teams in the league struggle against.
Yeah, as I said, Lapoussin and also Castromontes, they're wing back slash wingers. They really play really offensively. Are good picks. But yeah, against Cercle, they're really good defensively. I think Wallison has maybe the most, if not the second most clean sheets this season. So it will be a difficult game for Union. But my prediction for this game is 2-0 or 1-0 win for Union. I think they will have a difficult, but Cercle Brugge is not gonna level the level of Union.
I indeed agree Cercle is not on the level of Union, but I do believe in a goal for Cercle Brugge just because Union have struggled to keep a clean sheet. They have given away goals easily in some games this season, so I do think there will be a goal for Cercle, but only one. I will say a 2-1 for Union for this game. Now, these were all games of this weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you love this, give this video some love, let us know, and we will be making more of these. It is a bit of a longer video. I enjoyed making it, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.